Welcome to another episode of Black Eye Platinums, where I platinum review games you may or may not heard of while showcasing gameplay. This is Ro here with Platinum 125, and the game is Tales of Irons 2. It's a good sleeper indie game. Let's get into it. This is the second game of the series, and it's a quick indie game that took roughly 18 hours to beat. And that's strictly because there's a huge difficulty spike when it comes to the bosses, but we'll get into that later. First of all, the thing that you'll notice, this is just like the Game of Thrones. The biggest voice actor that I think this game deserves to have, he has returned. Doug Cockle, if you don't know who that is, that's the guy that voices Geralt in The Witcher 3. Huge voice actor. He was a narrator for the first one, and he's a narrator again for the second one. Just listen.
The warden and his small garrison turned their whiskers to the icy wind. At the end of hope, in a last barrage, they wiped bad kind from the land and memory.
So yeah, great voice actor. I enjoyed hearing his voice throughout the whole game. Also, the combat. Even though it's a 2D side scroller, the combat is really fluid and really good. The healing is god awful. That's probably going to be the biggest thing that annoys most people, because you're using a potion. But the combat's really good. They're a very diverse group of enemies, very more diverse than the last game. So the combat's really good. The kill cams are really, really cool too, and they're not super repetitive because it's a strong group of different enemies. Now, when it comes to the collectibles, let's deep dive into that. You've got to collect these little game cards, just like The Witcher 3. Like, I think they stole the idea of The Witcher 3 Gwent. You don't play with the cards, but hearing Geralt's voice in the background every time you buy a car is pretty much obvious. You have a settlement that you just upgrade, you fully upgrade them, and then you get trophies for that. And then you also have your health upgrade, so you have to upgrade it, and then you'll be able to buy the stuff you need for your health, as you can see right here. Fully upgrade your health, you get a trophy for that as well. I mean, honestly, with the introduction to stuff like that, the health and everything that comes with it, it's not that hard, it's not that complicated. It's more about how fast you want to rush it, because it's just pacing. So that's a really easy gold trophy. Like, indie game, easy gold trophy. And the map itself isn't huge. There is a plethora of backtracking. Plethora. You get these magic powers, which aren't in the first game, which are really cool. So you get electricity, fire, poison, and then like ice/wind, because enemies have resistance and weaknesses. So that's pretty cool. I think the addition of that changed the gameplay and make it a little bit different than the first one, because it is a 2D game that doesn't have platforming capabilities. And then you have side quests, plenty of side quests. The characters do not talk. I want to repeat that. They mumble. So you hear, Mr. Cockle's voice the whole time. That's the only voice you will hear of like any type of dialect. Everything else is just mumble jumble. So yeah, but there's plenty of side quests, plenty of things to do. You got to do all the side quests in order to get the trophies for each faction location. So basically every area you got to visit. It's not an open world. There's like sections you have to go to. So yeah. And the premise of the story is pretty straightforward. Family gets taken down by these vampire bats, and you're just going around rebuilding it, collecting a group of people who want to join your resistance and rebuild the whole clan, Winter's Edge. Yeah, pretty straightforward. The story itself, complete majority of the story, and then you'll be able to unlock everything else. The map, everything's like huge. There's a lot of waypoints to go back and forth to travel to. So yeah, it's not that bad. Traveling, with the PS5, you can't play it on the Xbox, but playing on PS5 Pro, that's why I play it on. It's pretty easy when it comes to loading the loading screen for all the backtracking, so you have to worry about delays and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really, really good, really fluid. Again, combat, that's pretty the shining thing. Yellow allows you to parry, red, dodge, add the mystical powers behind it as well. Yeah, I mean, the combat was really, really good. Now, the last boss, without spoiling exactly what happens, that will test your mantle. Because, no, he should not be that strong. Again, just strike up the power. Like, for no reason. This difficulty spike just shot up. Overall, I'll give this game a 7. Really good game. I enjoyed it as a sequel. Really easy platinum besides the difficulty spike. And I definitely recommend it as a good indie title. Check out my YouTube page for more games you probably never heard of as I continue platinuming games. Thanks for showing up and listening.